Hi, and welcome to my Facebook Live. I wanted to do this, ironically enough, on socializing your dog while isolating. And my neighbor's son, it's his birthday, so there was like a stream. You can probably hear the cars honking going by, wishing them a happy birthday. So we are all still humans socializing while isolating, but it's even more so important with the puppies. It's the puppies are the ones that I worry about. Now, socialization and enrichment are important for all dogs, and as I talk about this is something that even adult dogs, you still need to do with your dogs, is the socialization and the enrichment. It never ends, but it's so important for puppies. From birth to about 4.5 months is the ideal time for socialization and, to be honest, training with your dog, because that's when their brains are developing and they're so susceptible to new ideas. And it's the same with all species. Kittens, it's the same. Human babies, it's exactly the same. That's why it's so important for infants to have stimulation and enrichment and socialization at an early age. I remember when my oldest son was born, and he had some physical issues where he had to be in the NICU for 6 weeks after he was born, and he was in an induced coma and had 3 surgeries before he was a year and all this horrible stuff. Thank goodness he's great now. But then, I knew that was the most critical stage in his development, and for physical reasons, we were unable to do that. So even while he was in the induced coma, I still did some handling exercises, some massaging. We had a tape recorder with, playing Mozart in his little bassinet and everything. So it's the same thing with puppies and kittens. And unfortunately, they are not getting that. Breeders, every breeder should be handling and socializing and enriching the puppy from birth. They can't see and they can't hear, but they can touch and they can smell. And the breeders should be utilizing those senses to stimulate the dogs and to socialize them. So from birth on, it's very, very important. Now, a lot of dogs don't get that because a lot of dogs aren't from breeders. If you have rescue dogs like I do, I work with a lot of rescue dogs, and they simply didn't get that as puppies. If they did get that, they probably wouldn't have ended up as rescue dogs. So with rescue dogs, we have to basically play catch up. We have to put that socialization and that enrichment on steroids to really catch up where they should have been if they were getting this from birth. Now, doing the social distancing like we are doing to keep ourselves safe, it just makes it a little bit trickier. We can't do puppy classes right now. We shouldn't be doing puppy classes right now. We shouldn't be doing group classes right now. For our own protection. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but they have had a couple, one dog has tested positive for the coronavirus. There's a few house cats that have tested positive for it. And the CDC says that they don't think that we can get it from pets, but they also a month ago didn't think that pets were able to get it from us. So please, please be careful as we try and walk that fine line of continuing to train our dogs and provide that socialization that they need with keeping ourselves safe and keeping them safe too. So social distancing while socializing, okay? So how can we socialize them? How can we continue this? And not just during the coronavirus and social distancing, but also just in general. We talk about and we do socialization in the puppy classes, But I think puppies and dogs in general just are getting maybe 1/100th of what they should be getting. And these puppies, I can't stress it enough, how their brains are just developing, and they're so malleable at this stage. It's perfect time for training. But if we don't take advantage of this time, if we don't train them, if we don't socialize them, we're setting ourselves up and them for problems later on. So what can we do now? Well, what you can do, there's actually 4 different stages to, or 4 different types of socialization. And number 1 is handling. Handling. You can be doing that. You should be doing that. Everybody in your family should be doing that. Everybody that your dog comes in contact with should be doing that. And I have the treats with me here. But handling is just touching your dog, picking them up, touching their little paws. There's my dog. I was looking for you. Touching their paws, touching their ears, giving them treats while you're doing that. It's easier to show than to tell. Come here. So even just picking them up and holding them in different... This is Iggy. Hey, Iggy. Holding them up. Knock my glasses off. Holding them up, touching their paws, touching their ears, touching their mouth, giving them kisses, touching them, even picking them up. I can't pick him up anymore. Picking him up, handling him. I know. Shh, you're fine. You come here. Good. And picking them up together. He doesn't like it when he gets picked up. So picking them up together and handling them. Good. Touching them. Not just so they get used to it, but for situations like at the vet, at the groomer, your dog is going to have to be handled, and we want them to like it. Now, if you touch your dog and they don't like it, like if you touch their ear and they pull away, that means you need to do it more. Come back with some treats or something that your dog really likes. If your other dog doesn't like it when you're picking up one of the other dogs, then you need to teach them to like that. Lots of positives, treats, touching them all the time, getting them used to that. And again, if you're the only one that does it with your dog, then your dog will be okay with you doing it, but maybe not your kids or your spouse or the neighbor or the vet or the groomer. Again, we need to do this in multiple scenarios so dogs learn to be relaxed and to love it and to be okay with it, because you never know what situation may arise when you need to do that. Obviously, your dog's going to have to be groomed. The vet's going to have to see them annually and touch them. And then, God forbid, if they were sick or injured, the vet would really need to get in there. So we need for them to love all of this handling. Touching their toes so that you can get in there and not just remove a foxtail if you got a seed burr or a foxtail or something, but if your dog needs to have their nails trimmed. I can't tell you when I was working for a vet how many dogs we had to muzzle, and a couple we had to sedate just to trim their toenails. So teach them to love all of this. And if you've got, a young puppy, you can do this in 5 minutes and your dog's going to be great. Now, the older that your dog gets, the more time it's going to take. Just like with us. The older that we get, the longer it takes to learn stuff. The more set we get in our ways. Same thing with the animals, okay? So touching them, getting them to like this, not pinning them down and holding them and forcing them, but making it light, making it happy. Talk to them. Oh, we're just going to trim your toes now. Da-da-da. We're going to touch your ears. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Blah, 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 blah. Keep it light. Keep it happy. Keep it jolly. And pair it with food if you need to really like them. Do this with every species in your family. Obviously the dogs, the cat. Do this with your cat so that you can trim your cat's toenails. My cat gets non-anesthesia dentals. We've done this with him so much. He's just like, yeah, whatever, clean my teeth, I don't care, whatever. If you've got pigs or goats or whatever, kids, teach your kids to like this so that they like to go to the dentist. Babies, so that you can get in there and clean their teeth. But the trick is not to force and to hold them down. It's to make a game out of it and make them like it. So it's fun. It's like, yeah, trim my toenails. This is great. Yeah. Now, again, the older your dog is, the more challenging it may be, or if they've had some bad experiences, which again, why with puppies, it's so important to make this very pleasurable, make it fun. So the socialization is really about exposing your dog positively to a variety of stimulus. The more your dog gets exposed to, the less a big deal everything's going to be in life, you know? So as your dog gets older, they're not reactive to other dogs. They're not afraid of things. Which is the next thing you want to do, is expose your dog to different things, to different stimulus, different articles like umbrellas, hats. Umbrellas are the big one for Southern California dogs, right? Different articles carrying different things, ladders. You know, my kids and my husband play hockey, so they, you know, the first time they have those hockey bags or the sticks. When Iggy came to us, he freaked. He was like, "What is that?" So all those different things that we don't even think about, it's huge for your dog. Dry cleaning bags, that's another one. So expose your dog positively to all these different things. So you take out an umbrella and you know, don't taunt him with it. You just hold it out there and make light of it. Go, "Hey, it's an umbrella. It's not a big deal." Da, 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 da. And then you open it. "Hey, it's okay. It's just an umbrella." Maybe toss him a couple treats. So what does he learn? Oh, wow, they're pretty jolted about that umbrella. It must be a good thing. I don't know why, but I'm not afraid of it. And that's what we want. Now, if you do something new to your dog, like if you open that umbrella and they jump back, perfectly normal for them to be like, "Oh my God, what was that?" But what you're really looking for is their recovery time. How long does it take them to regain their composure and come over and sniff and smell that umbrella? How long does it take them for them to recover and come back to you? Is it a second? Is it 2 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? Is it a minute? Do they never come back? Okay. Those are your cues, how much time you need to be spending doing this with your dog. If it takes your dog, you know, 0.04 seconds to approach that umbrella, you're okay. If it takes them 4 minutes, if it takes them 10 minutes, if they never come back to that umbrella, that means that's something that you really need to be working on with your dog, okay? And think about it from your dog's point of view. Again, that dry cleaning bag is like no big deal to us, but to them it's like, "Oh my gosh, what is that? So weird." And fear leads to aggression, and we can't have that. You can't have an aggressive dog at all. It ruins their quality of life. It ruins your quality of life, to be sure. So what we want to do is set them up to have all these positive experiences so that they're not going to be afraid. They'll be like, "I can handle it. Seen a cat, no big deal. Seen another dog, no big deal. Kids, no big deal." Okay? Number one, fear and things that dogs are reactive to is kids. Because kids do things that adults would never think about, you know? They move quickly. They have really high squeaky voices. And it can be very discerning to dogs. So if you've got a puppy, get them around kids as much as you can. If you don't have kids, you know, have the neighbors toss some treats over the fence or whatever, or over the hedge. We have a little fence here, so that they learn to love kids. Now, that's the other thing, is we want to socialize them with handling. We want to socialize them with objects. And we want to socialize them, of course, with people. People is huge, and that's what we can't do right now with social distancing. And you don't even want another person petting and touching your dog, because there's always the risk of cross-contamination with that. You know, we're having to disinfect our mail. I don't want somebody touching my dog, and then I'm going to have to disinfect my dog, and you don't want to be doing disinfecting on your dog. That is for sure. Okay. So how do we socialize at a distance? Again, over the fence, over the hedge, your dog, Freudian slip. Your neighbor can toss treats to your dog. Or you can be standing a safe distance, 6 feet away. Whatever they say, it's 6 feet away. I always go 10 because I'm a little, bit on the safe side. And when they're over there, there's a person way over there. There's a person with a dog way over there. You can be standing here with your dog. Oh, look over there. We don't care about them. Treat, 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 treat. Look at that over there. That's a dog. That's a person. Who cares? Treat, 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 treat. Make it light. Make it happy. Pair it with food if you need to. Okay? But the more they see a person and a dog, even if they're way over there, seen that person, seen that dog, whatever. And bonus, reward them for sitting nicely with you. So you're working on that training. You're working on them sitting with you and paying attention to you and not what's going on over there. Oh, my hair. Oh my God. Are you all just like dying to get back to the hairdresser? Get my hair. Well, I lose hairdressers. My hairdressers retire on me or move out of state. I think they're all just like done with my hair. But the socialization, you can and should be doing it for a distance. Do it with people, do it with other animals, dogs, cats, squirrels, whatever you see that's 10, 20 feet away. Oh, look at that. It's just a squirrel. Treat, 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 treat. Okay? So you still can be socializing at a safe distance. And again, be careful of people touching and petting your dog. Cross-contamination. Leashes, the protocol at the vet now, is how it has to be. So think about that when you take your dog out. And if you're walking your dog and somebody wants to pet your dog, or, if you give somebody your dog's leash and they just touched it, you have to clean that now. So please be aware of that. Stay safe. Another way to socialize with people and animals safely is with, like if you have a big screen TV, you can put on, if your dog watches TV like one of mine does, you can put on, 101 Dalmatians or, live action something or other to get them used to dogs. Just standing outside or standing inside the window in your living room and a dog walks by, hopefully with its person, on the sidewalk, again, oh, who's a good dog? That's a person. Or a person, that's a dog. We don't care. Treat, 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 treat. Okay, you can let them see all of that and let them get used to the world, even through your living room window. Okay, sounds are another big one. Get your dog, puppy especially, but like I said, I'm thinking about rescue dogs. I'm thinking about older dogs that just, for whatever reason, they weren't able to socialize as puppies. Sometimes it's because they were rescues. Sometimes they had health issues, just like my son. Sometimes, Iggy was in the hospital, plus he was a stray and in the shelter. So he kind of had the double whammy with him. So there's different reasons that they don't get it. And so whatever your dog's situation, we're just going to take them where they are and work on it from there. But especially if you've got a puppy, oh my goodness, really, really be inundating your puppy with all this stimulus. And the auditory stimulus as well. Alexa is, she just heard me, is a great tool. Have Alexa play dog sounds, dogs barking. It was me, I said Alexa. My husband came in, he's like, what is that? Why is Alexa going on? Have Alexa play dog sounds, getting them used to dogs barking so it doesn't trigger and set them off. And of course, while dogs are barking, Alexa, Reward your dog for not barking. Shush. Good. Or quiet. And reward them for acting appropriately. You can also do this with dogs that maybe have some issues with fireworks, thunderstorms. I know, again, here in Southern California, we don't get a lot of thunderstorms, so when we do, it freaks a lot of dogs out. So you can prepare for this, have the sounds going, Alexa, or even YouTube, you can play fireworks, dogs barking, thunderstorms. Play it at low levels and give your dog some treat. Feed your dog while it's going on. And then they get desensitized. They get used to it. So it's like, I've heard fireworks. It's no big deal. I've heard thunderstorms. It's no big deal. Okay? The time to start this is not July 3rd or even July 1st. The time to start it is now to get your dog prepared for fireworks. Because, we don't want them to be afraid, of course. And then if you medicate or sedate your dog, now they're afraid and drugged. So let's just get them over this. Start at low levels. When they're nice and relaxed with it, then you go to higher and higher and higher levels. So if you're at a medium volume and your dog is acting anxious, reduce the volume to when they're calm and they're not showing signs of anxiety. Give them treats, feed them, give them a Kong, play with them, make it fun, lots of jolly routines with it. And then when they're calm at this level of volume, then you go up a little bit. When they're calm here, you go up a little bit more in volume. If you get to this volume and they start to show signs of anxiety or fear, you bring it down again. Okay? And every day is different. They have good days and bad days just like we do. So maybe one day you'll be up here and the next day you'll have to go down here with the volume. That's how it works, especially the older that your dog gets. That's why we want to do it with puppies. That's why we want to do it now. We do it now. An 8-week-old puppy, you can do it in an afternoon. 6-week-old puppy, 5 minutes, you've got it. Their bounce back time is so incredible. Now, if you do happen to have a puppy that's 8 weeks, whatever, and they're having some issues, they're not bouncing back, that's a signal that we need to do a little bit more. And maybe they didn't get this as really young puppies from the breeder or from wherever you got them from. So it just means we have to do it more. But go slow, go gradually, especially if you have an older dog. We don't want to overwhelm them. We don't want to freak them out. So if you do stuff like this and they're not bouncing back, you just need to go slower. That's all. Puppies, we have a lot more wiggle room. Puppies just have lots more wiggle room. But be careful when you're doing this with rescue dogs, especially if you've got a rescue dog that's potentially had some traumas and some other issues. We want to be really sensitive to that. But audio, okay? So you've got the handling, you've got the objects, you've got the people and other dogs and other animals that you can socialize them with. Now, another thing that we can do with people is a little role play. Even though you're one person, wear different things. Costumes. Okay, if you've got kids in the house, oh my gosh, the kids love this. Have so much fun with a little bit of role playing. Little dress up time. Wear hats and jackets and especially hoodies and act differently, talk differently, have an accent with your dog, whatever. Different tone of voice. Get different physical movements. So you want to do weird things. You want to act differently. It's the time to embrace your inner child. So different walks, skip, even fall down. Like be walking and then just fall down. See what your dog does. See how your dog reacts. Again, we're looking for their recovery time. Does it take them a moment to go, oh, what? And then come back and start licking you and going, what's your problem? Are you okay? What's your deal? Or are they barking at you? Does it take 5 minutes for them to come back to you? Okay. And then it tells us what work we need to do with them and how fast we can do it. So it's really about that recovery time that we're looking for. But absolutely do weird things. Act weird around your dog. Hone your acting skills. One person can be 20 people depending on your multiple personalities. So act differently, do different things, wear different things, hold different things. Get everybody in the family involved with this, for heaven's sakes, and have some fun with it. Have some fun with it. And watch how your dog reacts to what you're doing. If they're okay with you wearing, like a baseball hat, but then you put baseball hat and sunglasses on and your dog is really taken back by that, then that just means, work on that. And every dog is going to be different. And every situation is going to be different. One day to the next, you may see some variables, so don't be concerned about that. That's pretty normal. It's just your dog trying to differentiate what's going on here before they generalize. But just keep it light, keep it happy. Don't freak out your dog. We want to expose them is the word, but we don't want to freak them out. Okay, keep it light, keep it happy, keep it fun. Now, another thing to do is surface substrates, what your dog is walking on. You'd be surprised how many dogs freak out when they have to walk on like a metal surface, walking over like manhole covers or grates, or a lot of dogs going into stores with the electric doors, the automatic doors, I guess you call it. Where they step on it and then it triggers it. Some dogs are like, oh, they're not even going to step on that. I had one dog that we were training for service dog work, and he did not like to step on certain surfaces, like the slick surfaces, linoleum and stuff like that. He was like, oh, very hesitant about that. So especially puppies, we want to expose that to them now. So a year from now, you want to do therapy dog work. 2 years from now, you want to do service dog work. Whatever the situation is, they'll catch on to it and it'll be no big deal. You want to do it now. The younger your dog is, the easier it is. Bottom line. So if you can't take your dog out, if your dog hasn't had all their vaccines yet, you can make up different floor surfaces at home. Cardboard, have them walk across cardboard. Tarps, get big tarps and have them walk across the tarp. Of course, using a treat, using your lure reward training, treat, reward, make it fun, make it light, make it happy. Garbage bags. I'll even take the big black garbage bags and spread those out and then have the dogs walk across that kind of a slick, weird surface. Empty water bottles. Go raise your recycling. Take your empty water bottles, put them in a container like, I like the plastic kiddie pools. When you're not using it as a pool for your dog or a digging pit, throw a bunch of recycling in there. Throw some of those plastic water bottles and stuff in there and walk your little puppies in there, giving them lots of treats, making it very happy, a fun time, okay? Or even if you don't have the plastic kiddie pool, you could have the tarp or the plastic garbage bag set out and then throw some water bottles in there, and then they have to walk along that. It makes noise. While they're doing that, you can make sound in the background, have somebody jumping up and down. Like I said, get your kids involved with this. Your kids would love this. Have your kids jumping, giggling in the background, and then falling down. This is one thing working with the therapy dogs and service dogs is they'll be great because they get into the situation and the scenario, so they'll be great with the handler walking next to them. But what happens if you trip over something? Or what happens if you do fall down? This has happened to me a couple times. I'm such a klutz. Like when I'm walking the dogs, I'll just trip over my own feet. A lot of times I'll end up dropping the leash too when I do it, and I swear the dogs just stand there and they roll their eyes at me like, so lame. What is her deal? So if you're not organically klutzy and dropping things and falling like I am, then do it on purpose and do it intentionally so that your dog gets used to all of that stuff. So that one time when you're out and you do trip on something, or who knows what happens, you fall over, somebody falls over next to you as you're walking your dog, we don't want them to freak out and react to that. Okay, we want them to be very stable, and that's what we're going for. One of the key things to a great dog is that stable temperament where nothing flusters them. They're like, for long. They can be like, what was that? But then they'll recover. It's that recovery that we're looking for. So setting up different situations, acting weird, different floor surfaces, handling, it's that positive exposure to a variety of stimulus. But please do it safely. Please do it carefully. Keep yourself safe. I say this only half jokingly because if something happens to you, who's going to take care of your dog? You know, and that's one thing that the rescue we deal with more often than I'd like is something happens to the owner. Not necessarily coronavirus, although that is going on. People are being hospitalized and nobody can care for their animals, or worse, and they're having to find permanent homes for the animals. But in general, we run into this quite a lot where you know, like older owners end up having to go to assisted care facilities, and there's nobody to take the animals. And or if something, you know, if an owner dies, what's going to happen to the pet? So, I mean, that's kind of a caveat to this is you kind of want to think about that. I mean, it's almost like, you know, custody for your kids. If something happened to you, what would happen to your kids? But, you know, your animals are your kids. They're your responsibility. So I want to keep you safe and I want to keep you healthy so that you can take care of them. But it doesn't mean that we can't and we shouldn't be doing these other things. So socializing while social distancing is possible. We just have to be more creative about it. So tap into your inner child, do some role playing, look around your garage and your recycling, and expose them to all of this stimulus, but positively. And of course, if you have questions about something, DM me, call me, text me, email me. I'm always around, and especially now, where am I going? I'm always here doing some of the dogs. And I am doing some virtual classes. So we're still able to train, even though we're not able to be in the same room together. It's not the same for sure, but it's the next best thing. And I am starting an agility class this Wednesday, a virtual agility class. So I want to show you some ways to look around your garage and make agility equipment out of stuff you probably already have, and how to entertain and enrich your dog and continue this socialization and have some fun while you're doing it. Because if you're not having fun, what's the point? If you're not having fun, the dog's not having fun, life is short. Enjoy it. For sure. So we're going to be starting that. If you want information about that, please let me know. Absolutely. If you're not already following me on Facebook, please follow me. Facebook, Instagram. And if you're not getting my emails, jump on my website. There's more training information on my website, more videos. But make sure that you're signed up for my email list so that you'll be notified of any other classes. I want to do like some fun and games classes, and I am going to be starting a webinar series as well. So starting next Saturday, I'm going to be doing webinar series. I'm going to do a whole webinar. If you want more information on enriching and socializing your dog, I'm going to do a whole webinar on that. I'm going to do another one coming up in 2 weeks on separation anxiety. Because I know after this is all over with, there's going to be a lot of dogs with separation anxiety. I mean, they're loving it now. They're loving you being home now. But when everybody goes back to work and school, there's going to be a big void and a lot of separation anxiety. So if you're interested in that stuff, let me know. Make sure we're in contact. And with that being said, thank you for hanging out with me, and go enjoy the rest of your your Saturday and go socialize and do something fun with your dog. Go play with your dog right now. Thanks a lot. Till next time. Bye.